What's good, Elevators? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod.
Wowzers. Joe is a mastermind at keeping his name circulating in these headlines. We already know he had a New York Times interview coming out. I thought it was coming out on Monday, but I got it a day later. Your boy even subscribed to New York Times for a week just so I can make sure I clip this all up before I got rid of that subscription. I'm not reading New York Times. But anyway, I wanted to read a couple of excerpts from it, and then we can discuss it afterwards. The money coming in. So far this year, the Joe Budden Network has earned an average of $1,040,000 per month on Patreon. It has about 70,000 paying subscribers. Subscriptions range from $5 to $50 per month, with higher tiers granted access to more episodes, so on and so forth. 70,000 paying subscribers. This means its 2025 subscription revenue will probably exceed $12 million, enough to make Mr. Budden the top earner on the crowdfunding platform. Wow. That status and Mr. Budden's figures were confirmed by a spokeswoman for Patreon. Let's continue. The money going out. The Joe Budden Network employs more than 30 independent contractors in roles such as production and administrative support. Payment of these contractors and the on-air talent is the company's biggest expense. For example, more than $1.5 million annually goes to the co-host of the Joe Budden podcast, and they proceed to name 6. And notice the order that they put the names in. They include Trevor Robinson, shout out Queens Flip, Mark Lamont Hill, Melissa Ford, Parks, and then Ish, and then Ice. And then it also includes other costs, including production fees, marketing expenses, and real estate. The company is in the process of purchasing for roughly $2 million. And according to people on Spaces, they already purchased this property, so I would assume this interview occurred while they're in the midst of it, so 2 or 3 months prior to the release date. Where are the other articles? There was another part that caught me. Oh, here it is. The Creator Wars. Patreon came along in 2021, offering no guaranteed check, but equity in the company and advisory roles for Mr. Budden and Mr. Schwartzman. Notice how it doesn't say those roles ceased. And a lot of people were telling me when I was saying I think Joe's still with Patreon that these numbers or that their roles were terminated. And Joe himself said it. But in this article, it said they were never receiving compensation. They never got a check, but they have equity in the company. And shout out to Joe. When I put my Patreon numbers up on my YouTube page or the post, he was one of the first comments. Keep going. It's tying in together rather nicely. And let's see if there's anything else before I start talking about it. Basically, throughout the rest of the interview, he's talking about he wants to get these numbers out here in the hopes of keeping creators independent. And since it's a New York Times article, and Patreon made sure they had a spokesperson agree to the things being said in the article, Joe having Patreon ranked, that means something. I don't know what it entails, but it entails something. And even if he didn't have that rank anymore, them acknowledging that he's the top earner on the app means something, because I vividly remember when I signed up, I looked to see who the top podders were, or the top just creators on the Patreon space were, to kind of gauge my pace and if I'm doing well or not. And the first people that popped up was Shane and Matt. 177,000 paid members. That's Shane and Matt. And they're not getting $12 million annually. But the more pressing topic, and I know the topic that everyone is here for, is the money going out to the creators or to the co-host and everybody up there. They started off with saying we employ 30 independent contractors And we only hear the names of about 9 to 12 people. So they have 18 other people working in the background that we have no clue about. One of the sites that comes to mind and how he could possibly be employing these independent contractors is Hip Hop Wired News, I believe, or Hip Hop Hotwired.com or something of that sort. Every time I'm scrolling my Google News feed, which is often because I'm trying to stay relevant with the times and I don't watch the news, because they know I speak about Joe Budden on YouTube because they're affiliated, they show me all the articles pertaining to Joe Budden. It kind of keeps me on my toes. But I see that hiphophotwired.com every time with an article speaking solely about Joe Budden. That could be one of his independent contractors that we don't know about. He could be employing people in the tabloid space to, even if he's letting, or the controversy, or they're talking negatively about him, he knows controversy sells. He knows all publicity is good publicity. Why do you think he constantly reaches out to channels like mine and Danny's, even though we seemingly talk negative about their show all the time? But we talk about their show all the time. And when those audiences grow and in essence sends hater watches to your channel and people that want to support you solely because you're hating on them so much, it's a win-win. So that would be some real science to dig into, seeing who the other 18 employed contractors are. But let's get into the real gist of all of this. $1.5 million a year goes to 6 people. Now, I'm not a math whiz, but math is the academics that I'm most proficient in, or the subject, I should say. So simple math would tell you 1.5 divided by 6 is $250K a year, which is a lot of money. But when we get more advanced into it, because Joe kept telling them, I'm going to put it out there and let them know that you're not rich or that you're not poor and that y'all niggas get bread out here. And $250,000 is a lot of money. But the more pressing issue, I don't think it's an even split amongst the 6. I don't think they're each individually getting $250,000 a year. That's where the discrepancies lie. That's where all the turmoil begins. Because I know I make $180 a year. I know I make $300 a year. I know I make $240 a year. Where is the rest of the money going and who's getting what split? That's where the turmoil comes. I thought it was very, very revelatory that Joe decided to make a New York Times article. And this isn't his first one, but it's his first in like a decade. I thought it was very telling that Joe decided to make a New York Times article solely profiling what he makes in the space. Guys, the leak was real. That's what the article is telling us. The leak was 100% real. And one thing that stands out to me is that 900,000 number. $900,000 in a month, but it had a down arrow next to it. Joe's pissed. Nigga, I get it. Y'all get paid, we get paid. Y'all know I get paid, and we have the notoriety and the visibility. But $100,000 in lost income on one of your sites, if the numbers are down over here, hopefully they don't correlate to the YouTube numbers, because if they do, I might have lost $100K over there. So the $200,000 decrease in 30 days is nuts. This is why Joe is constantly on there. This is why Joe is constantly berating them. This is why Joe is constantly speaking on the product. But one thing that the title spoke on that Patreon didn't speak on was that this is a $20 million a year company as far as what he makes. Or I'll say them accumulatively. But are they saying 8 million comes from YouTube? Or, and this is more telling, are they saying the Prize Picks ad doesn't pay as much as we think they do? Notice how they don't sponsor every show. They sponsor the main free releases. But 12 and 8 don't add up. So Patreon is his most prized possession. Just like I said a couple of months ago, Patreon is why Joe is able to live the way he does. He also said in this article that from 2018, when he was with Complex, his allowance is $500 a week because everything else was going to expenses. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video kind of touching base on the article, just in case you didn't get a chance to read it or were never going to read it. I at least wanted to let you know what it was all about. I'm going to make a more detailed video about this on Patreon, so y'all go check me out, patreon.com/elevation or / I don't know, I'm not proficient with that. And there was another part of the article that I really wanted to touch base on. Y'all go check out Patreon for that. But as always, like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the page if you haven't. If you have, you already know what it is. You already know how we rocking over here. And I'll most definitely be seeing y'all a little later. I just got to go knock out like 3 yards real quick. So I'll see y'all like 4 or 5. But y'all be safe. Peace.